how Max Dier is doing over 100 wholesaling deals a year, and exactly how he has become super successful, super young wholesaling real estate, and exactly he was going to share today how you can do the same thing. Max, welcome.
Thank you. Are you older than me? Am I older than you? I'm 25.
So I just turned 25, so I guess we're the
Okay.
same age. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
well, nice to finally meet you and finally to start kind of talking about your success getting into wholesaling real estate. So, you do have a YouTube channel. You actually have a pretty awesome Discord. And we kind of want to talk about exactly how you got started wholesaling, your journey, and everything like that. So, who is Max Dier and how do you get started wholesaling?
One thing I love about real estate and real estate wholesaling is we all come from such different backgrounds. So when I was 18 years old, I went out and bought my first investment property. So 7 years ago, houses were a little bit cheaper here in Dallas, Fort Worth. I bought a student housing property, kept compounding that and kept investing. I've always been an investor. After college, didn't want a 9 to 5. Honestly, couldn't get a 9 to 5. So went out, started a few different businesses, investing, tech sector, just different things. Exited that. And I was like, what's the next thing I should do? Scrolling on my phone one day, I come across this guy named Pace Morby. Then I come across this other guy, Flip with Rick, Zach. Who are these guys? And I start learning about real estate wholesaling. I've been an investor for years. I didn't even know wholesaling was a thing. I was buying homes on Zillow. You can buy homes off market? What? What is this? So I fell in the rabbit hole. And for 12 months, all I did was try and fail. And I was failing. I was like, how am I failing? I've been a real estate investor for 7 years. I have my MBA. I'm the best. Well, things was, I was just doing it all wrong. And the funniest thing is looking back now, if I would have just focused on what you were preaching at the time, which is really the core of it, wholesaling cash, wholesaling, reverse wholesaling and doing more of JVs, I would have been so successful. So after that, after I feel like I finally figured it out, we started a company called RFP Homes. We're a disposition shop in Dallas, Fort Worth. We partner with other wholesalers and we sell their deals to buyers. Right now we're doing over 20 deals a month. We're doing probably around $200,000 a month in revenue, and we're growing really steadily. And the most important thing to me is through my Discord community, the wholesalers, we're all pirates, hence the guy back there. We partner with other wholesalers. We help them get their first deal, their second deal, their third deal, their fifth deal. So that's Maximilian Dier in a nutshell, and I'd love to talk to you more about it.
That's awesome, man. Well, first and foremost, I do a lot of JV deals, but I do not do 20 a month in just Dallas. So this is just like Dallas, but like I do the whole country, okay, right? And I have like I think I have a lot of followers, right? I mean, hopefully you keep growing, but like you're doing this and finding JV deals, not with the most insane following, like it's growing, right? But like you're doing that, like I think it's pretty cool. You don't need to have this crazy like podcast studio, and you get all these deals, and it's really really cool. So getting started wholesaling, right? You kind of mentioned you learned a little creative finance, wholesaling, all these things. What I personally have found, and let me know if I'm wrong, but like a lot of beginners, they see the subject twos, they see lease options, and then they try to do it all together. And I personally believe you should learn wholesaling first, make money, and then start getting in the creative stuff. What do you
Thank
think?
you. My motto is wholesale cash, and then take this cash and invest it in creative deals. Don't go in wholesale creative deals, make money, and then go and invest that creatively to compound your wealth. You're 100% right. The reason I failed when I first started was shiny object syndrome. I'm sure you've had that before. I was chasing the sub 2 deals, the seller finance deals, the wholesale. Then I started chasing commercial $10 million properties when right in front of me, right across the street, there's this ugly 3-2 brick house here in Garland, Richardson, Plano that I could just get under contract for 300,000 and flip it to an investor for 330,000, make 30 grand. But no, I was chasing all these things. Ah,
It's crazy, man. And I also want to talk about your JV operations too, because you're doing a lot of deals, right? And I feel like anybody watching this, if you live in like Houston or Atlanta, like you can kind of copy his system and do it there because there's no competition here. So, what was your first wholesaling real estate deal?
so my first one was when I was that 12 months period where I was just trying everything and learning. Funny enough, it was actually a seller finance deal out in way out West Texas, middle of nowhere. I ended up, took me months. I negotiated this deal for like $0 down, 2% interest. And then I wholesaled it to a guy on Facebook. So I did the acquisitions and the dispositions, and I ended up getting paid. I think it was like a $10,000 assignment fee. And I actually took the money over time in the form of seller finance payments. So for the next 10 years, I'm receiving $92 a month in a check. So really weird deal. But after doing that, I was like, there must be a better way. So when I moved into cash is really when we started to find success, and when I started wholesaling in my backyard. We've done deals where we've done land deals that we flipped in 2 hours for 56,000, deals for ugly houses that we just, made $76,000 on. Those are your home runs, but you make money on your base hits. So every day we're selling a deal that we're making 5-7 grand on, and then maybe once a month we get that home run. So that's really what we shoot for.
Okay. And so did you start wholesaling, then you made your RFP homes and went and did there, or were you like solo, or has this always been a thing?
Yeah, no, I actually joined the company. So one thing that I really try to instill in people is find the right partners.
Mhm.
I've always been a solopreneur, and it's really tough to grow a business. Maybe you can grow a 7-figure business on your own, but if you want to get to 8, 9, 10 figures, you need to partner with people who are in different stages of their career and who are better at different things. So I ended up partnering with Nick, Ryan, and Tony. And then together we were able to really scale this.
There we go. I mean, I wish I could tell you wrong, but like, I mean, I'm partnered with Rick, and like we were both making 6 figures alone, but like together it went nuts. So talking about your 100 deals, like year to date, right? Where are you finding these deals? Like, what's kind of the marketing part of it?
Absolutely. So coming back to the theme of, why 99% of wholesalers fail, I think you're an extremely unique case because you have this big social media presence, you're an expert. But in my opinion, people who are just starting, and even people, my size, I think you should be wholesaling in one market. You show me a house anywhere in Dallas, Fort Worth, within 5 seconds, I can tell you what we should buy it at because I know this market. But you show me a house in Austin or Houston or in Florida, I couldn't even tell you. So focus on one market. Don't focus on all these different strategies. Focus on one strategy. And how are we finding these deals? Well, we're a disposition shop. So what we really work on is selling deals. So there's acquisitions, there's dispositions. I don't recommend new wholesalers focus on both. So direct to seller is where I think new wholesalers should start. Going out, finding motivated sellers through door knocking, cold calling, PPL, PPC, however they want to get started, go and find leads and then use someone like us to sell them. So that's what we're doing. We're just JVing with wholesalers, agents too. We get a lot of pocket listings from agents. They bring us their deal and then we sell them in a few hours off market to a cash investor.
There we go. Okay, so if you're mostly a dispositions agency, right? How do you find your buyers? Like, what's kind of the easiest way that you have found?
It's so funny because you have all these gurus on the internet, right, who are preaching use investor lift, it will make you billions, or do this strategy or that strategy. But at the end of the day, what you've been saying and what you've built your software X leads around is simply reverse skip tracing, doing the dirty work, not the sexy stuff, where you say, okay, hey, I have this house in Fort Worth. There is around it 5 investors who bought cash properties just like this in the last 3 months. Let me get their LLCs, let me get their name, pull their phone number up, and call these people and see if they want my house a few blocks away. Is it fun? No. Does it work? It works. And then you get in contact with these people. You're like, hey, I have this house not too far away. Come to my office. Let me take you out to lunch. Let's go golfing sometime. Because really, like I said, Nick, when we started this podcast, I'll talk about my partner, Nick. He sold and wholesaled over 160 homes in 1 year. He broke the record at New Western. What he did was he had 3 good buyers in each zip code. You don't need millions of buyers. You need good quality cash buyers. So the best way to do it is use a software like XLead. Just get people's phone numbers, call them, build a relationship, and sell your deals. So at my company, I have right now, I think we're about 26 agents. We keep hiring, we keep growing, but they're all licensed. We're a brokerage, they're all licensed realtors. And what they do is they build their book of business, they build their buyers by reverse skip tracing and calling, and then taking them out to lunch and just doing it the old fashioned way.
Dude, that's beautiful. I'm not going to mention that other company you said because I don't know much about it, But what I can tell you is, tell me if I'm wrong though. Okay, I just want everyone to understand this phrase: drop a bunch of money on disposition software. Don't you think some disposition software they tell you just buy it and the buyers just come to you? You just click a button and it's dispoed. And as a guy that's purchased very expensive buyer software, I was promised that if I just click the button, the deal gets done. And they're like, no, it just helps you. You got to do all the work. I'm like, what? I just go to Prop Street and pull a cash. And man, my mind broke when I heard that, because everyone made it seem like you click it, it's listed, it gets, dude, it's, you have to work for it. You have to call, reach out, and do all these things, man. It drives me crazy.
And this softwares do work. And I'm not here to, to shut down these softwares like the investor lifts and those. They do work. I think they're really good if you're trying to wholesale outside of your prime market. So if I did want to try to sell some deals in Georgia or Florida, and they're also good to build your book of business and follow up with those people and call. But there's no magic, easy solution to anything in life, and especially wholesaling. You're not going to click a button, like you said, and your deal sells. It just doesn't work. There's a reason why things like tried and true methods still work. The old fashioned way still works. And that's just what you got to do.
Okay, so if, for example, let's say your buddy has a wholesale deal and he's in Plano, right? And so he's not going to be associated with you, and you're in his shoes. You got a good deal locked up. You could probably make 15 grand on it. How would he, with no money at all, find a buyer right now?
So really, there's two ways. One, he can partner with someone like us, and that's reverse
Oh,
wholesaling.
duh, you already know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not doing that.
Okay, so not partnering with someone like us, what you could do is simply like use a software like yours. So let's say his house is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,200 square foot house in West Plano. He could look and see what cash buyers bought properties very similar to his within 1 mile. Why cash buyers? Investors buy homes cash, or private money, hard money, same thing. So you look to see what investors, you get ABC, LLC Holdings, BCY Capital, you get these people, you go, you get their name, you pull their number, and then you call them and say, hey, I got an off-market deal, right next to this house that you bought. I want this much for it. Come and let's go see the property. You take them to the property. That's one thing I really, really, really preach is go and meet your buyers and show them the property in person. So when they say, that foundation, it's rough. You say, it's actually really not that bad. I got a foundation guy who can do that for $5,000. This house needs a lot of work. No. I got a contractor who can do that. So you overcome the objections in person. You bring a contract in person. You say, hey, right now, I got 3 other people who want to see this house, but I'll sell it to you right now for whatever price. You get them to sign it, and then you get a non-refundable earnest money, and then you wholesale that deal.
That's beautiful, man. The one thing about that I've always seen is people are like, I got snagged from my deal. The buyer stole my deal. And the majority of the time when a buyer steals your deal, you don't walk them through. You just give them the address, say, walk it through yourself, or it's all virtual. So, I mean, you deal with a lot of buyers too. I deal with buyers all the time too. What's your process of figuring out exactly if this person's fake, not real? They're using some real estate coaches proof of funds, and they're just trying to JV the JV, right? Because there's coaches that do that, right? How are you doing the players versus the pretenders here for the buyers?
Yeah, so I teach all my agents to really vet our buyers. So there is a crisis in wholesaling of daisy chainers, people that will take our deals and go and market them without actually having a contract on them. It was so crazy. Zach, I had a guy last week. I won't put him on blast here because he'll probably cry, but he was daisy chaining our deal. So we're selling deals. He came as a fake buyer, lied to us and said he was a buyer. He got through our process, which is rare, but it happens. Some people are good at lying. Then he gets our deals to go and sell them to somebody else and try to make some money, but he tried to sell it back to me. So he was daisy chaining our own deals. But anyways, what you got to do is you really just got to quiz these people. You need to become a knowledgeable real estate investor or wholesaler yourself, but you ask these people, hey, what's your buy box? If they say, oh, I'm just looking for houses, they're a wholesaler. A legitimate buyer is going to say, hey, I'm looking for 1980s plus 3-2 homes. It has to have a 2-car garage, must be 1,800 square feet or bigger, and I want ARV under 500K. If you get an answer like that, I bet you they're a good, legitimate buyer. You just learn to know when someone's bluffing you after you've done it enough.
Dude, that's what I do. Like the one thing I tell everyone is the deeds never lie. And so,
Mhm.
for example, if I ask Max, I'm like, if he's looking to buy a house, I'm like, well, do you own any real estate? If I ask you that, are you going to be like, how dare you ask me? No, how dare you? No, be like, no, I own real estate. And you could probably pop off one deal you own, right? And I'm just going to look up the deed. Deed on one rental you own. Did you sign the deed with your name?
Yeah. Or the
So
LLC.
the
Yeah.
signature on public record is going to have you sign it, right? Like it's,
Yeah.
you can't lie about that. Now, the one thing I do is I've had buyers freak out over me. Okay, I'm a little crazy. So I own my real estate under trusts, and then the lawyer signs the deed for me because I'm
Mhm.
hidden. But I can show documents that I'm the owner of the trust. So like you can't. There's no way of lying if you own real estate or not. And so we always have that two property rule. If you don't own two houses, I ain't selling you a deal.
I love that.
And Aaron, who's 19 years old in Detroit, he don't own no real estate. So that's definitely a important thing to do. So what's that vetting process like though, right? Obviously you're asking their buy box, but like, is there anything else you do to kind of figure out if they're legit or not?
It's honestly, you do it enough. Like I said, you can usually figure it out just by talking, but you don't need to be any different than, let's say, you go and get a hard money loan. Are they just going to lend to you? No, they're going to say, hey, how many flips have you done in the past 24 months?
Mm.
You've done 4 flips. Let me see the HUD statements on those 4 flips and see how much you actually made. If you want to go that far, you can. If a buyer gets offended, he's probably not your right customer, anyways. So you can go as extreme as you want on these. But at the end of the day, what I really think is the biggest vetting process is, hey, you want my contract? Then pay me a $5,000, $7,500, $10,000 non-refundable earnest money.
Mm.
If they do that, I promise you, they're not a wholesaler, right? They're risking their capital, and if they don't close on this property, they're going to lose that money. So that's usually the biggest telltale sign if they're willing to put non-refundable EMD down.
Dude, I do that every time. So what's your process on the dispositions with the seller? So I know you work with a lot of wholesalers, right? Do you work with the seller? Do you have the person you're JVing with work with the seller? And what do you tell the seller when you're walking through with the buyer?
Yeah, that's such a great point. So most of what we do is direct to wholesaler or direct to agent. At my company, I'm mostly marketing and I do a little bit more acquisitions. So here and there, I will do direct to seller or I'll help a wholesaler with their direct to seller communications and approach and negotiations. Like right now, I'm in the process. A seller's trying to back out of a deal with one of my wholesalers. So now we're having to cloud title with a memorandum and then we're having to renegotiate, give more money. It happens all the time. But frankly, what you need to do is figure out the motivation, right? We're buying these houses at a discount for cash because there is some underlying motivation with the seller.
Mm.
We just had a property, really nice house, and these people were very wealthy and they were wholesaling their house, selling it at a discount. Why would they do that? Well, the wife doesn't want people in her house. She didn't want to do showings. She didn't want to list it on MLS. She just wanted to sell it once to an investor, done. So what is the motivation? And based off of that motivation, you can approach them and deal with the situation. So what we do is if there's a tenant or a person living in the property, we schedule one showing where we have all of our buyers come and see the property. And it's like, hey, we just need 1 hour of your time. Just we're going to be in and out. I'm bringing, my trusted buyers here to the property and they're just going to see the house. And then after an hour, we're going to be gone and we're never going to come back. So that's how we schedule that. We walk our buyers through the property very respectfully. They look at different things, and then we actually do a silent bidding process. So it's like, hey, the property is starting at 250, but you have 10 other people who are interested. So if you really want this, you may have to bid to 260.
Mm.
Sometimes they bid up really high, so it's a really fun process.
Yeah, I mean Dallas is a really cool market for that. Obviously, there's some really big pops. What's at your company? What's been the largest wholesale deal you guys done?
So for the most part, we're actually a volume-based wholesale brokerage, which I'm really proud of. We want our wholesalers to make the most money. So we're trying to do a lot of volume. And
Mm.
if you're looking for a Dispo partner, that's actually the key question. So,
Mm.
you're looking at Dispo partner. What you're going to want to ask is this one question. Do you double close? If your Dispo partner, the person selling your deals, double closes on you, run away, run for the hills, because
Oh
what
yeah.
they're doing is lying to you about how much the house is worth. And I can explain more of that in a second, but we never double close. So everything we do is very transparent. I go on YouTube and say exactly how much I made. And if I'm making 80 grand and the wholesaler is making 5, everyone will know and I won't be able to sleep at night. So I'm actually proud that the average deal we're doing is probably closer to like 7 to 10K in revenue, and the wholesaler makes more money. But we have made home runs, and those are usually when we're direct to seller or direct to agent. Like I said, land has been doing really well for me. I've done a 45K deal. I've done, we did,
I'm talking
did
about
a
total like
25K.
assignment. Even
Like
though the other
total,
guy's making it right. Yeah, like everyone
total
got,
assignment,
yeah.
probably, maybe like 75K. Unfortunately, we
Awesome.
just had a deal where I wholesaled it for 190K assignment fee, but the buyer backed out. So that one hurt a little bit, but
When
that's
they
just the name of the
they
game.
saw how much you're going to make.
No, they
Ah.
just decided that they wanted a different property.
Man.
What about yours? What's your biggest assignment fee?
Mine was, I believe right now it's going to be $120,000. Like officially, like check in my hand.
That's crazy.
But remember it's always a probate. Every single time it's a
Oh,
probate.
interesting.
And it's always a $40,000 deal, and then you realize you hit gold. And
Mhm.
that's how I do it. Like that deal was, we locked it up, probate, and they built like a huge Amazon thing, and all, like they built a Bass Pro, like it was like the middle of nowhere, and then they built everything up, and it just went nuts, man. So some executive bought it, I think 120, but that was nice. But really, like it's hard to get those pops in Dallas, right? Unless you're doing San Fran or a higher ARV area. I know a lot of guys in Houston doing it for like land, but that's mineral rights. Don't get me started on that. But you can make a lot of money. And the one thing, like you're doing good pops, but you're doing volume. I've always seen with guys that are doing higher volume is you get lucky days. And if you just do enough volume, you're going to get a lucky one, right? And that's always my advice for everyone. Like you just keep calling every day. You're more chance you're going to get lucky on there. So 75 great, man. That's awesome, dude. So now the next part's like, how do you know if you have a good deal or not, right? I mean, I know in my JV operations, that is the biggest bottleneck. The most expensive part is everyone sends in really bad deals.
Yeah.
So how do you guys figure that out?
So what I have is really great. So if you join my free Discord community here, the wholesalers,
There we go.
A lot of cool benefits of joining, but one thing that I'm really proud of is I have a full-time team of real estate agents, and all they do is comp your deals. So you send in ugly houses, land, or even creative deals, and they'll go through and they'll comp it. Now, wholesalers, right? You guys have learned the 70% rule. You've learned all these things, and sure, they sort of work, but the issue is every single city is different. Every single zip code is different. Every single street is different. So if you're a new wholesaler, how are you supposed to know that if this house you should offer 450 or 650? You just have a hard time. So what we do is we pretty much know, for the most part, and my team knows, I can sell this house all day long for 400K to a buyer. I want to make 10K on this. Hey, my maximum allowable offer, I will buy this contract from you for 390. Go get it under contract for 385 and make 5 grand. Go get it under contract for 330 and make 60 grand. I don't care. I'm not going to double close on you. I'm just telling you how much I can buy it for and how much I plan to sell it for. So you send me a lead and say, hey, I have a house in Fort Worth. It's a 2-1 framer. And these, here are the pictures, here are the only information. My team will comp it and be like, hey, we need this at 90. We're going to sell it for 99. Then you know what we'll buy it for. So you go out and get under contract and you make your own assignment fee. So that's pretty much what we do for our JV partners. We comp all their deals. Some people send 10 leads a day. I love it. Keep sending me the leads.
I like it, dude. You got the whole agents doing it. Yeah, it's wholesalers, SAILOR. It's really hard to find on Discord, so you're gonna have to go on your YouTube channel and then find the link on there. I try searching, I can't find it, but it's pretty dang cool. You got a little feature in there. You can get it comped. I have a full-time team that does it for my own deals, and it's a pain in the butt because it's all over the country. But if you do one specific market, it's easy. Like if you're in Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, like it's like 5 seconds. If you're Detroit, I can get it done pretty quick, right? But it's pretty cool you have that. So how many agents are doing only the comping for you?
We had two, but honestly, we have one who's just incredible. Her name's Nikki, and she's now just doing it pretty much full time. And she's way overqualified. She has her MBA, and she's just a killer. So she's handling it all right now. And we may grow, but for now, she's handling everything.
That's awesome. I mean, Dallas is huge, man. It's like I always say it's like 4 markets in one, right? You got
Yeah.
like Northeast, South. It's so cool, man. So and it's growing like crazy. So it's going to be good, man. So okay, so you figure out if it's a deal or not, then you go from there. Do you guys ever have to renegotiate some of these JV deals get sent in?
All the time. And, I hate to do it, but especially in this market where, after the election, I don't know, but especially going into winter, 2022, 2023, 2024, it's been a hard time to wholesale. This is not your 2020 or 2021 where deals are, you can sell anything for 50K assignment fees. So we will put a deal out there. And sometimes a buyer will come in lower, the foundation's worse than expected, and then we'll have to renegotiate. But that's never the goal. The goal is to always try to get the number we gave you. So we try to give you like an 80% confidence level when we give you an offer.
Oh yeah. See, I hear people say it's not just like 2020. I'm like, you got to remember that like the average house in Dallas in 2017 when I got started wholesaling, right, 2016 was probably 40 to 60% less. It was so easy back then. And yeah, when prices ramp up to the average house being 400 grand, well, if you do another run up, the average house can be 600 grand. And the law of numbers, it gets harder to get good deals there. So I don't think I think we're gonna hit another crazy run up if they cut the rates off. But what are you seeing currently right now? Like, are buyer activity growing like crazy right now? Or do you expect it to be a little crazier with this election and the interest rates and things like that?
Wholesaling's so funny, and I don't know if you've noticed this. It varies. Every week is different. You'll ask me one week, and I had an incredible week, and the next week was just dry. Um, but in general, it's been steady. A lot of people, it's not the best market, it's not the worst market. Some things are doing better than others. For example, rentals here in Dallas, Fort Worth. So rental plays selling a deal to a fund for a rental, selling a duplex, a triplex, a quadplex. Those have been extremely tough because
Yeah.
rental rates are not high enough to support the expensive purchase price and property taxes and insurance. But fix and flips are still decent. New home construction has been great. So that's why here and there it's just been, I would say it's steady, maybe a 5 on 10 right now. Really what we need to see is motivation on one side. So what does that mean? Either the sellers need to get extremely motivated, and I hate to say it, but if unemployment rises, people start to just really hit a hard time, they're going to be willing to sell their house faster at a bigger discount. Right now sellers aren't super motivated in general, and then rates are still super high. So if they do sell, then they're just going to go and buy a 6, 7, 8% property, which is just not ideal for them. And on the other side, buyers aren't extremely motivated either. So it's a bit of just a stagnant market. But it's good to get started in a stagnant market. And if you can do okay now, when it gets good, you're going to do so well.
Oh yeah. That's my favorite when prices ramp up because the sellers still think their house isn't worth much and the buyers know. And it goes crazy, man. There's always somebody that starts making money and they want to buy real estate and you just got to find them. So I don't want you to mention who it is, but like you're in your mind, right? In your company, the best buyer ever, like your secret little bit, like buyer you want to keep away from everyone, right? How did you find that buyer? Don't mention the buyers, but like, how did you find that buyer?
So I don't handle too much of the
Okay.
disposition side of the business,
Okay.
but frankly, it's going to come from what we just talked about earlier. But it's not just going to be a phone call. You literally build an actual friendship with them. I don't know if it's the same with you, but your best
Yeah.
5, 10 buyers, you're actually friends with them. You could call them right now and just start talking about anything with them, and they'll answer. Aside from business, aside from real estate, and that's really your best buyer. It's just your friend who you happen to find, at a networking event, calling, whatever that is. So I'll put that question back at you. Like for your best buyers, how did you end up finding them?
Oh no, I just find rich people that want to buy
That
real
works
estate.
too.
And that's because what I personally found is they're used to buy. I find guys that buy on the MLS all day
Mm.
and they just snake my way and they're like, hey, you're paying a realtor 10%. Just I could save you 20%. And they're like, whoa. And I went to the guy's house. He has the largest house in on the water in Indian River County, and dude's crazy. And then I get a lot of heart surgeons. I don't know why. They make $1.5-2 million a year. They always want to buy 3 or 4 houses. Florida's a little crazy, but rental properties, it's the easiest thing to do there, man. And then hedge funds they've dried up like crazy where I'm at.
Hedge funds are, if you would have asked in 2020, 2021, I would have said hedge funds, but now it's very slow for hedge funds.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of opening up a little more in the Southeast, but it's a mess. So one thing I've seen on your YouTube channel, which I think everyone should check it out, Maximilian Dier, right? One thing I want to mention, I don't know, this is not a shot at anyone in the industry, but you do a couple ones where you call PPL leads, and I have notoriously hated PPL. And a lot of people make it seem like when you buy a PPL lead that you instantly close all of them, and it's just like cash, 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 cash. And I think you're the only one that has gone live with a real PPL where the owner's not. Let me make this clear. The owner's not supplying you the lead, so it makes their service look good. You're actually in the service yourself, not with the owner feeding you it, right? You're actually in the system. And it's a little more difficult, right?
Dude, it's so funny because I don't know anything about these fake gurus that you and I hate in the business. So I don't even know that they did that. I mean, that's
oh no, the owners contacted me like, Zach, we'll give you
Really?
leads that are actually like they wouldn't be on this price we negotiated. We're just going to give you the lead. You can look like a rock star. Oh yeah. And I told the guy choice words, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. Dude, this stuff's nasty, man. But
I had no idea. No,
why do you think when people call PPL
authentic.
leads, they close them every time, and then when the average guy gets a PPL, it doesn't get closed?
I've been calling PPL for like the last month just on my own for fun. I haven't got a deal from it. It
Are
happens.
are you not good at closing, or it's like, I mean, I think you're above average, right? I think it's funny that I saw that. I think that's how I found you. I saw that on YouTube because I'm researching PPL with the new regulations. I'm like, that's crazy, man. And then after I got that one guy, I was like, man, it's because you mentioned PPL, man. I'm like, dude, I hate PPL more than anything because I think it's the biggest sham in the world here. But that's just currently me.
Well, I'm going to ask you a couple questions on that. But no, I mean, I do like PPL, and we have gotten some deals. Last batch is just I haven't got lucky on it, but it's also the follow-up thing. So they're going to take a few months, and I can probably convert those later on.
Oh yeah.
But as far as PPL goes, I mean, it's probably just a big marketing scam in the sense that if you think you're going to get one lead and close it, like I have people in my community, they're like, I spent $200 on a PPL lead, I didn't close it. PPL's a joke. Well, no, you should probably budget maybe $5,000, probably buy 20, 30 leads and expect to close one of those. And if you haven't closed one of those, then it's problem either with your closing or maybe like your dispo partner. But just like anything, marketing, you have to spend in order to actually, see results. But as far as for you, are you mostly just cold calling with VAs? Is that what works best for you?
Dude, it's cold calling, texting, direct mails are a big one right now, but that on the seller side, calling, texting, and direct mails are 3 bread and butter. The reason is because it's worked since the 70s and it's going to work till now, right? I literally have a book here. If you see my channel, I talk about it forever. It's called Divine Intervention. This How Real Estate Fortunes Are Made from George Bockel from 1973. We actually found this in a flip. That's why I call it Divine Intervention. And this book, right before I started my YouTube channel, talked about subject twos, how to go inside of newspapers and get buyers. It showed how to do lease options and how to I forgot, it's not called wholesaling. It's assigning contracts, but basically being a middleman, investor, he called it or whatever. And it blew my mind. And cold calling is in there, not texting, obviously, but like the strategies that worked in the 70s are going to still work now. This problem with PPL, I'll tell everyone, I don't want to get on a ramp. Like PPL works is I run a PPC campaign, and I'm like, sell your house, Dallas. What happens? I click the first one, and then I click the second one and the third one, and I'm going to get quotes. And you buy a PPL lead talking to 3 other guys. I hate it. Cold calling, you don't get it. And that's the main part. But let's kind of circle back here to Discord, right? I've been telling everybody, you want to do deals, just go inside Discord. And if you're watching this and you're over the age of 50, you might be like, Discord's not for me. It is 100% for you. And it is what I've personally found. I've never seen so many people struggle to success. I've never seen the biggest change than on Discord. There's this one guy, his name's Carlos. He was doing no deals. And I said, dude, just post that you have buyers. And he's really good at finding buyers. And he's doing 3 or 4 deals every single month inside my Discord. Hey, who needs help selling a deal? I think, let me know if what you think too, because I think you see the industry too. The biggest tragedy I have found are wholesalers that lock up a deal, but they can't sell it and the deal just dies and it's in the graveyard.
It's the worst feeling in the world, and that's why my first 12 months wholesaling, that was me. Not only did I feel terrible, I pissed off a seller. I
Mm.
literally, I mean, what a terrible feeling to get, jerked around by a wholesaler. And I wasted my title company's time and almost burned that relationship. And then I just wasted my buyer's time by sending them bad deals or a deal that they weren't interested in. It's just not a good feeling. And that's why, again, reverse wholesale. Go and find the Carloses of the world in the Discord, or go and find someone like me if you're looking at DFW. Go and find someone and say, hey, I have this deal. And make sure you trust them. Make sure they won't double close on you. Make sure they have belly to belly buyers that they actually know and have relationships with. They have this deal. What could you sell it at? And then, how much can you pay me for it? Or what JV split can we do on this deal? Go just work backwards on it. And if they say, dude, and 80% of the time, they're going to know more than you. That's just how it is. They're going to say, hey, I know this market. Your deal, you locked it up too high, or that seller wants too much money. Go back and negotiate. Trust them. I'm sure they know their numbers. Don't go. One thing I hate about the fake gurus in this industry is maybe their courses aren't so bad. Maybe their mentorships aren't so bad, even though they overcharge for them. But the thing is, like, sure, they teach you how to lock up deals, but they don't teach you how to lock up good deals, or even how to get rid of those contracts once you have them. You need to have that whole back end figured out. But yeah,
Well,
this Discord's great.
dude, I'm telling you, like, I tell people, I'm like, you have to pay to get into wholesaling, right? And the way people think I was actually free guy. I ain't free. This one guy, we did a $60,000 deal and it was a 50-50 split.
Mm-hmm.
I got 30, he got 30, but he paid me 30 grand for mentorship. And he didn't pay me, but like, hey, I showed him, okay, well, you locked up too high. Here's my acquisitions team, renegotiate. He was on the call. He's learning. And I'm like, okay, this is how I found the buyer. Let's walk it through together. And then Dispo team walked it through and he's learning. This is an assignment. This is the title company. And he got 30 grand. I got 30. He paid 30 grand to get mentored by me for a real deal. And it's kind of just like holding your hand through the whole process and showing you. And you got to pay doing that. And you actually learn more doing that than paying someone 10, 15 grand being in a Zoom call with 40,000 other people. But like, for example, if I don't know Dispo, I go with your team, I think you guys would be very transparent on the process. And now I learn. It works pretty dang good, man. And it's
It
amazing.
works so much better because the incentives are aligned. If you pay
Yeah.
10 grand for a course, they don't care if you ever get a deal or not. They've already milked you for 10 grand. But if you, Zach, you are only going to make money if this guy makes 30 grand, you're only going to make 30 grand, you're going to go out of your way and make sure that this deal goes to the finish line. And not only that, I bet you that guy's brought you 2, 3, 4, 5 more deals since then because he's learned the process.
Or the best part is you have a lot more to lose. So a guy in those comments come back, you know what, Maximilian Dier, he snaked me at a 90 grand and he did this. And if you snake someone, it's pretty easy proof, right? I have the calls. Here's the email. He told me to go F myself. He made 80 grand and he can expose you. And then your reputation's over. Your reputation takes 10 years to build and 1 second to destroy. And I have a lot to lose if I snake somebody on a deal. You have way too much to lose if you snake someone on a deal, right? And I think that's the most important part. I sit on my Discord. If you ever look, someone stole my deal, just search it and it's all there. So many people steal your deal. So many people will snake you. And I'm proud, I've never snaked one person. I've had one person upset because I took half of a $80,000 deal once and he didn't feel like I deserved it, even though I did it all, whatever. But like overall, if you just bring a deal to somebody who has too much to lose, they're not going to screw you. And I see it happen all the time. Now, my one caveat is one of your Nick's former partners. I have lost a considerable amount of JV deals doing that. But I've also closed a lot of deals with that company. So it's kind of weird. I've lost 6 figures of deals, but I've also got 6 figures with them. That's the only one that has too much to lose that will screw you, I think. But have you ever worked with that company?
I have never.
On the Dispo side?
I've never heard anything positive about them. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to talk too much smack, but
No, I'm not talking smack, but like if you go with them, like I've lost deals.
Yeah.
But it's always one story I'll tell you is I had a deal once where I JV'd with that company. It was our only option, and we were set to make 10 grand, and the buyer backed out, and then the title company, because I control the title company, said, "Oh no, they closed." And I'm like, "Yeah," and that company closed. I'm like, and then I called the guy up like, "Dude, you snaked me out of the deal." He's like, "No, they got out of it, and then they decided they wanted to go with us after." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Mm.
That's how they steal your deal, right? And so the problem is, I make an exposed video. It doesn't really matter. So
Well, that's only on the wholesaler side. And again, I'm not going to name names, but let's just say there are companies out there. So on the wholesaler side, they're doing shady things like they did to you. On the buyer's side, they have a practice that they call the burn and block. So what they do is they get a deal, and it's not a good deal. Like, let's be honest, maybe it's like 88% of ARV. Like, they know the buyer is going to lose money, but they say this is a life-changing deal. You're a first-time home flipper. You're going to make generational wealth for your family. Buy this deal, sign this contract right now. They pressure them into buying this deal. Then they burn them, right? Like, they have burned this buyer. They immediately, once they sign the contract and they close, they block them. They block their phone number, they block them on socials, and they just ghost them. Terrible practices. I would rather, again, my philosophy is like, if I won't make a public YouTube video about a deal, that means that I was not, it's obviously I did something shady, or I didn't do something transparent enough. Like, that's my way of saying, it's like, would I make a public YouTube video on this? Am I happy to say that this wholesaler made 10, I made 20, whatever? If I am, cool. I'm doing this the right way.
that's awesome, man. So
Yeah.
you're growing it. You got a good reputation. You're just growing on there. So what else do you do on that Discord, right? You comp properties. You just have like a community in there, right?
Yeah, and I want to ask you more about why you're so fascinated with Discord, but I love Discord. I think the issue with Facebook is it's just a bunch of old people in Facebook groups, and it's not real-time communication, whereas Discord is more focused towards the young, hustler, great for wholesalers. At real-time communication, you have channels, you have lives, it's fun. You can genuinely build a community on there. And on our Discord, we do live streams every day. Like you said, I'm cold calling PPL. It's all authentic. You can send me leads. I'll comp your leads. I got built-in calculators. I send you free Skiptrace lists. I got cheat sheets. I got scripts. I just have all the resources there. So you get in there and you can just, immediately succeed. But I just love Discord. It's so much fun.
Dude, Facebook. I have the largest wholesaling Facebook group in the country with 145,000 people, and if I make a post, it will get 300 views.
Mm-hmm.
And some posts gets like you'll get 20,000 views and 30,000 views, but like I have 145,000 people in there. If I post a video, it gets seen literally to 1,000 people. I'm like, this is nuts. Instagram too. I have 216,000 followers. Some videos will get 50,000 views. It's like, why isn't it even more? On YouTube, it's very consistent. It's very good.
Yeah.
And Facebook kind of like they have this feed, right? I remember I'm an old head. I'm 25. So when I was 17, I used to have Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Remember on Instagram, you used to, on your following, it showed you the like chronological order from somebody on your following posted. Now it's like they mix in cat videos and dog videos, and it's distracting, right? But like that's the problem. And so Discord's insane. So if I have a guy scamming in there, like, oh, I'm a Forex trader, my whole community will just destroy the guy and then get him timed out and kicked out and things like that. And my favorite part about Discord is y'all can just, let's hop on the lounge and just talk. And boom, you're in there and you can talk, right? You can't get that anywhere else. And probably my favorite part about Discord is I can share things that YouTube doesn't let me share. Like I love showing, hey, here's how to pull a pre-foreclosure list because I love my software. I think my software is the best. But even if you use my software, it's still going to be 15, 20 days behind the Dallas County's list pendants, right? That's just how it works. And so you can go on the pre-foreclosure list and get the docket before it's even public, and you get that data, and YouTube takes it all down. So Discord's really fun, and it's growing like crazy. I think 70% of any in Gen Z's on Discord.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact when I'm 50 or 60, those young people are going to be on Discord, and they're not really on Facebook anymore. So it's growing like crazy, man. And it's a better community, right? And my favorite part about it is people pay 50, 60, 70 bucks a month to be on these Discords because it's amazing. Give it out for free. I think it kills all these wholesaling gurus, and that's why I love it.
Well, that's one thing when I said 3 years ago, I was watching all these videos about wholesalers and I was learning. I always ended up coming back to your model, which was, and it's more the Alex Hormozy model. You provide unlimited free value, and you just make sure that your incentives are aligned. You go out and give all this free value, free community, free everything, but you make money on the back end by actually helping these wholesalers. And that's how the business should be run. It sucks when you just $10,000 course sign up or $1,000 Discord sign up, and then you can just go hide and just rack in the cash. That's not
Oh
how
yeah.
it should be.
I
So I've
love his
always
model.
appreciated your
I
model.
even
It's the
copied
right
him
way.
too. He
Yeah.
he has a software that serves the community, and he literally bought it. And I mean, I just made one. Same thing.
Hmm.
But like, I think it's pretty cool how you do it. But like, I'm just trying. I call it the free wholesaling movement, right? Just teaching wholesaling real estate for free. And man, dude, I don't know what it's like for you, right? But like when I was getting started, when I was like 16, 17, I hear a guy who's 64 years old tell me how to wholesale, and it's all the proper terms and everything's all preppy and proper. And I'm like, that's not wholesaling. You don't wear a suit jacket wholesaling. You don't do any of that stuff. You're in a collared shirt at best, and you just build a connection with somebody. It's crazy, man. I think this industry is set if we can teach younger people how to do it the right way to do a lot better. We get the flashy guys out here, the Lambos and the fancy stuff, but I'm telling anyone, if you make 40 grand, I mean, do you know anything else if you have a 21-year-old, right? How can I make 40 grand in a month legally without shaking your butt on the internet? What else can I do? And there's nothing else except for wholesaling.
Well, there is if you're willing to lose it all and risk reward. There's nothing better than wholesaling. Sure, you
You
can
have no
go
money.
buy. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you can bet it all. Like you can bet $5 on a meme coin. Or you can try to do some forex trade. None of it for risk reward. You're going to make money wholesaling. It's not a question of if. It's just when you're going to make money wholesaling. And the industry's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. Sure, there's laws and regulations. Maybe you got to double close in some states. Maybe we're going to have to redo our calling and texting, right? I'm actually interested in asking you a few questions about that, how you're approaching next year's new regulations. But it's here to stay. It's been around since the 70s, like you said, or even longer, and it's going to be here until 2070s.
Are you a licensed realtor?
I'm licensed, and everyone at our company is licensed, and that's our way to future-proof it. You don't need to be licensed to wholesale, but I think one, it gives you that extra bit of credibility.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk to sellers, they automatically trust you more. It just helps. Number two is I can actually double dip deals. One of my favorite things to do, go on Zillow, go find a deal. It's actually priced pretty well. Let's say I do this all the time. Everyone at my company does it. It's priced at 220. I'm like, I think I can sell this to a buyer at 200. So I say, hey, I'm going to buy this property from you for 200. And then the guy's like, oh, sure. And then I go and sell it for 200. Max, why'd you do that? You made no money. Well, what they didn't know is I got a 3% buyer's agent commission.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I took my 3% commission as a realtor. So I got paid $6,000. I bought a house for 200,000. I sold it for 200,000, but I made 3% commission because I'm licensed. I can get a commission. So that's another really cool thing. We call it the double dip. And then also, it also future proofs you for new regulation that's coming out. So I think it's good to have your license. I'm not a big fan of realtors, but it helps if you are wholesaling.
Well, I think my biggest gripe with realtors is I've seen this a lot is if a deal doesn't go well, but you make the assignment, the real estate board could legally take it away from you if the board decides, which I don't like. Probably my worst part, which I'm going to mention, is I call them broker daddies.
Mm.
And the reason I call these brokerages broker daddies is they're like your dad, and they say you can't wholesale, and then you can't if you're under that brokerage. So you're a broker. So if I'm in Dallas and I'm looking to wholesale and I'm an agent, could I be under your brokerage, and would you guys allow wholesaling?
It's funny, we don't allow retail listings. So if you're going to work at our company, you can only wholesale. We are a brokerage only wholesaling company. And you're 100% right. Most brokerages won't allow you to wholesale. So if you only want to wholesale, then you can come work with us.
I love it. That's perfect.
We don't like agents and realtors. Don't
No,
get us
I think
wrong.
it's good, especially for the dispo side, because some people call you a pseudo agent. So I don't really see the issue with that. And then I think for anyone who's an agent watching this, the worst part about being an agent is the marketing side, because especially with DNC law, everyone that gets popped for it is a realtor. Everyone that's not a realtor can't even legally get attacked from it, especially with the new FCC stuff. So I don't see the issue with that. But
It depends
it's
on your
interesting.
state too. We're in Texas. It's a non-disclosure state. It's really important to be a realtor here, so I get the good data, the
Oh
good
yeah.
MLS. But in other states, I don't think it's as critical. Like you're saying, there's a lot of downsides too.
Dude, it's scary, man. One big software, because I own a software, I can't say it now. They got dropped from the MLS,
Mm.
and it was chaos in Texas for like a month because that was the only
I know
software
who you're
people.
talking about.
And that, dude, that
It
was
was tough.
chaos, and that's my biggest fear, right? Is like I'm able to get the MLS data every day. I'm able to cache all the data, and they're pretty nice with me. There's a new law with my software and every software. If I buy from the MLS, I can't show you the sale price in Texas. I have to multiply it by 0.99 or multiply it by 1.01. I
Oh,
can't show you the
that's
actual.
why.
I can't show you the actual sold price, or I would it actually get dropped. So it's
Mm.
kind of scary. So FY, like even in Texas, man, you don't even get the official price from me. That's why you see it different. Some guy called actually it's a scam the other day because it was the sold price in Texas wasn't the actual one. But one thing I do like about non-disclosures, especially in wholesaling, is you the seller has a lot less leverage with everything, which is nice. But the worst part about Texas, which you said double dip, so you can't do dual agency in Texas, correct?
I think you can. It's just tough.
Oh, okay. So I know in Florida you can. I don't think you can do dual agency in Texas. I gotta see it.
I
Like,
don't know. I don't do retail, so I
yeah, you
genuinely
know.
don't
So
know.
that's when you're the buyer and the seller,
Hmm.
and the listing agent gets both the commission. Then you can just get really nasty with them because realtors only care about money, but could work out pretty well, man. So you know how to comp the deal, you know how to sell the deal, you know how to deal with the wholesalers. If you were somebody and you were looking to just find JV partners, right? I know Discord's a really awesome part, but there's so many other ways to do it, right? If you're outside of Texas, you're in Louisiana or something, how would you start finding JV deals with people?
So, are you saying you're a wholesaler who's looking to do dispositions and you're looking to
Mhm.
find other wholesalers who has deals? So you're
Yeah.
trying to replicate our model. So again, guys, if you're looking to get started with wholesalings, I would choose one of the two paths. I
Mm.
sort of lean towards doing acquisitions at first. I think dispositions is a little bit more of a seasoned. I know about real estate. I know about real estate investing. I know what investors are looking for. But you can try with dispositions first if you'd like. But don't try doing both, especially at first. Zach can do it, but you're talking to Zach, and Zach can do. And I have
No,
questions about
I
how.
did by myself,
Yeah.
in person, virtual, and then JV after that.
Okay. Um, but yeah, so I mean, if you're a wholesaler looking to try to find deals, believe it or not, as much as I hate to say it, Facebook's still one of your best tools. People are posting deals all the time on Facebook. There's still a lot of wholesalers on Facebook. You go out there and just say, build your book of business like we talked about, just belly to belly, picking up the phone, reverse skip tracing and calling. Build that book of business throughout the day. Get a few hundred buyers in different zip codes. Call them, network with them, follow up with them daily, take them out to lunch. But then on the other side, on Facebook, go and say, hey, I got buyers. Go to see people's posting, like they're posting a deal. But say, hey, I got a buyer for this deal, right? We found a lot of our wholesalers, honestly, most of them just come through Facebook,
Here we
Facebook
go.
groups. Yeah.
I love it, man. And so you've helped a lot of wholesalers out do well now. You're kind of learning a little more how to do that, right? How do most wholesalers fail, and how do you avoid it?
So, okay. So most wholesalers fail for three reasons. One, and guys, don't get me wrong. I love Pace Morby. I love creative finance. I teach
Mm.
subject to and seller finance and innovations. I love investing creatively, but wholesaling creative, it pays less because creative investors, they're notoriously cheap. The whole point of buying something creatively is to keep your cash. So if they're trying to keep their cash, they don't want to pay you an assignment fee. They never want to pay you a $50,000 assignment fee because it doesn't work for their deal. It's also riskier. You're liable for the next 30 years because you wholesale that deal, and it's harder, right? So I think wholesalers fail for three reasons. One, they're trying to only wholesale creative, or they're doing that shiny object syndrome. Focus on cash, focus on the thing that's not sexy, the homes in your backyard. The second thing is the backyard thing. They're trying to wholesale all around the US when they first get started. When I think when you should get started, get really good at one neighborhood, really learn one neighborhood, and then slowly grow outside.
Mm.
If I can do seven figures at my company in DFW and we're doing, 20 plus deals a month, there's enough deals for you too, dude. You just got started, right? Then you can exit. And the third reason, and I think the biggest reason why new wholesalers fail, they don't have that Dispo partner on the back end. So they lock up all these deals and then they can never sell the contract. Some guru told them, hey, this is how you get a contract, offer 70% of ARV or whatever. They get a deal, they can't sell it. reverse wholesale, find someone like Zach, find someone like the Carlos in the Discord, find someone like me, say, hey, I got a deal. What can you sell it at? Are you going to double close on me? No? Cool. How much would you buy from me at? Or how much can we JV on this deal at? I'm going to make 30 grand. Cool, take it. I'm not going to make money on this one. Let me go back and renegotiate. Work backwards. So those are the 3 reasons why, in my opinion, new wholesalers fail.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you're wrong at all. I mean, I think most of them don't even get that point. A lot of them just don't even want to do the work, right? You get the one on and make some money and get in there, right? And then obviously you're gonna have people that complain, and like that's just. I mean, you're 25, right? You see the generation, yeah. I don't know if you want. You said you got your MBA, so you've been to college. You see how those people are. It's not good, man. But
it's not good.
but overall, what do you think if somebody's getting started, right? I mean, I think you're leaning towards the dispo side versus the direct to seller side, right? If I'm trying to find a JV partner, right? Obviously, you don't want them to double close anything like that. Would you ask them how many deals they've done or like any proof of doing it, right? Or like, do you just trust them?
No, absolutely don't trust, guys. So I don't know, how many people do you have working for you, Zach, throughout all your different companies, part-time, full-time?
So, I mean, it's probably like 12 Americans because I go, oh, I have 74 employees.
Yeah.
They don't half of them don't even speak English. So,
But still,
12
I mean, do
Americans.
you just hire anyone, even if they're in the Philippines, just say, okay, cool, you're hired? Or do you go through a vetting process?
Well, I'm a little crazy. With my VAs for calling, I I do NFL training camp, so we'll hire like 20. The top 5 stay, and we cut the rest. And I'm pretty nasty with that. But those are VAs, right? But I always pay them very well, and
Yeah.
always give them some package, right? If my employee is locally here, I give them health, 401k, all these things. I always pay them well, but you got to trust them, right? It's pretty difficult to do. So man, I think the other question I have is 100 deals is a lot. What kind of systems do you guys have in place to manage that? Because you're not doing this through Podio, probably, right?
No, so we have a Salesforce built out. Do I
Mm.
recommend Salesforce to new wholesalers? Absolutely not. We
How
got
much
a
is it if someone's got a whole like suite there?
I mean, the per seat is not too expensive. You know,
Yeah.
it's less than $100 per seat, but the situation really is a Salesforce development. I mean, we have a full team of Salesforce developers, and it's slow development, and it's also expensive. Like our first, like we just got a bid for like our future Salesforce development. We have all the things we wanted to do. They came back to us and they said, 250,000. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
fuck. Yeah. So then we dropped the price a little. We changed some
Welcome
things.
development 101.
Yeah, right. And I'm sure you know. You're like, oh yeah, I know the feeling. So, yeah, it's cool. The cool thing about Salesforce is that we can build it up, white label it, sell it in the future. So we don't mind investing in a platform now. But for people getting started, don't do Salesforce. You can start on the Podios. You probably have better recommendations than I do.
I think Podio is great. I
Podio's
absolutely
cool.
love it, right?
I used
And
to
I
use
mean,
it.
heck, it works real. But I think 100's all. See, I think a lot of people think like you have this crazy like Podio system. I think everyone have been pushing that forever now. I think it's kind of going away. But yeah, you have a custom system, goes through there, right? And so how many employees does RFP Homes have now?
Yeah.
Or
So
they're
there's
agents, right?
yeah. So yeah, they're agents, right? So they're not actually employees. They're all 1099. So we don't pay base salaries. We just pay commission, but we pay leading commissions in the industry. So there's 4 of us as partners. Do we make a lot of money? Dude, I'll be honest with you, we don't. My agents are making more than me, and that's how I want it to be. I
Mm.
had my own money from investing from my different companies, and that's why I was able to go and build this business. If you guys want to go and build a wholesaling business, if you just want to get started wholesaling, you can make money. But if you want to actually grow a business, I'm sure X Leads is running at a loss right now, right? Our company, for the longest time, we were running at a loss. We just broke even. The partners, we're not making a lot of money, but that's how it should be when you grow a business. But how many employees? We have over 20 sales agents. They make on the sales side anywhere from like 15 to 25% of the wholesale fee, and on the
Wow.
acquisition side, the guys who are out going and finding the deals from the wholesalers, they're making somewhere between like 25 to 35% of the fee.
Wow.
So the goal is for everyone to make, for the good guys to make over 6 figures a year at our company. We have a lot of new agents, so they haven't been there long enough to make that. But the guys who are good are breaking 6 figures easy
That's
into the
awesome.
multiple 6 figures.
I like that. And so what's it looking like in the future, right? You got the Discord. Obviously, you're helping a lot of people there, but like, where do you see yourself in like a year?
Absolutely. So we're growing different arms of our business. We're going through a rebrand. So RFP Homes, this is what I've been working on the marketing side, is going to be
Mhm.
rebranded to Verticap, vertically capitalized. And what I'm doing is trying to build a vertically integrated business. So starting from the wholesalers, right? My Discord community, that's our university. I want to, instead of going and spending millions of dollars on mailers and VAs like you're doing, which works, don't get me wrong, I don't have the time and the energy to manage a team doing that right now when I'm growing my Dispo business. So I want to teach other wholesalers how to bring me the deals. Sure, maybe I lose 50%. That's fine. Let me teach you how to bring the deals. So I want to grow this university, have more wholesalers bring us deals. And then on the Dispo side, we're opening up a second office in Fort Worth. So we're going to have one office in Dallas, one office in Fort Worth. And then from there, maybe we hit Austin, maybe we hit Houston, maybe we hit San Antonio, and eventually I want to expand into Florida, Georgia, and other surrounding markets. We're also working on some few different businesses for buyers, a few different technologies, really trying to vertically integrate. But the goal is to, let's say we're doing 20-ish deals a month, $200,000 in revenue about. It's been a bit less recently, but we have months where we hit that. I'd love to get more to your level. I want our offices to be hitting 500K a month each. New Western, their best offices are doing over 7 figures. At one point, I think their best Dallas office was doing 2 million a month in revenue,
Wow.
which is incredible. Multiply that by 10, 50, 100 offices, you can see how the business model can work. So it's a matter of adding more offices, but also getting our offices to bring in more revenue.
Dude, and you kind of teach it all how you're doing your model, right? On your Discord, YouTube channel. And so like you're kind of giving away the sauce on it, which is really cool. But I do want to mention that like Max's model and kind of similar to my model too. There are people that sell $9,000 programs on how you can JV with other wholesalers.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, like that is literally what you're doing. Like you're literally what you're doing. And then they say, oh, get an agent, get his team, get it. You're doing that all absolutely for free, which is really damn cool. And I like how you go live. I like how you like just say it like it is, and you don't care if anyone says anything bad about you, and you just give your honest opinion. And I don't really see too much of that, so I like it, man. So wholesalers, if you want to check it out. So there's no link, but it's
Here, I can
Maximilian
put the link if you want.
Dier. Yeah, if you put the link on there, but what he's going to do is he's going to go in the comments of this video. He's going to put it in the comments, so you can click it right there. Because like discord.gg/, and it's got all those things in there. So
I'm building a cool website and a cool funnel, but for now we're just rocking.
oh, there you go. It's discord.com.
So Zach, how can someone like
See, you're mad at me? I stole this. I stole. Let's see where it's at right here. Let me put it in the chat right there. I stole Discord GG/wholesaling. So
oh, you did? I love that. It's okay.
That's my Discord.
We're the pirates.
Discord.gg/wholesalers.
Yeah.
And I like it. It's pretty cool. If you go on Discord, you click my link. I got a pirate theme on mine too. So hey, we're all pirates here. So check it out there. Check out his YouTube. It's pretty cool. And like always, if you have a deal in Dallas, hit him up, and him and his team can go do it. If I have a deal in Dallas and I want to send it to you, do I DM you? Do I go to your company? How do I do that?
So if you have a deal in Dallas, if it's just a lead, it's a prospect. It's like, Max, I found this guy with motivation. Go in the Discord, create a lead. You're just going to fill out a quick text box, send it to my team. My team will comp it. They'll handle all your EMD. They'll lend you the EMD for free. We'll even lend you option money for free. We'll handle the entire title process. We'll sell your deal, and at the end of the day, you'll just get a wire in the mail. So it's really hands off. But if you have a contract, you're doing volume, honestly, you can just text me. I'll put my social links here in the chat as well, and I'm always available for everybody.
All right, awesome. Well, Max couldn't put in the comments too, so check it out. And like always, Max, I really appreciate it and love to see where you're at in a year.
All right, I got one final question for you before we cut this off is how can someone like me go from doing hundreds of deals a year to being more like you and then doing, what did you say you're going to do this year? Over 1,000?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How can, we've talked about how people can go from maybe getting to where I am, but how can someone like me go from getting to 8 figures and 9 figures?
So with the JV part, like I always say, it's all about trust.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two things, right? So my business partner is Rick Ginn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this multiple times. I'd rather die than screw him. Like I would rather die than screw him. And I know he's my dad, so it's a little different than right. But like I I have so much to lose if I lied about something, if I was all fake, if if I screw people on deals. I have too much to lose. But you have to build the reputation up. So I say keep your social media. That's what I said. Do Discord, man. If you help people out and the info you give is actually good, they start doing deals. And so a lot of people who follow me, they do really well, and then they stay with me and they follow my stuff because I teach them, right? So for you, it's all about marketing, and the best way to market is to show your face on the internet and do it from there, man. One thing I told you for you specifically is you will close 10, 15, $20,000 deals. And I know you're probably a really humble guy, but on the internet, you can't be humble. And I know it sucks. Like there's a couple things I don't show. I don't show my cars. I don't show my house. I don't show some of these things, but I will show if I make $15,000, which it's really uncomfortable because my grandma sees that. And I'm just like $15,000 checks. I took 20 grand out the bank once and just threw it on the table. And, like people from high school see that, right? It's a little uncomfortable because I don't like showing that off, but there comes a price of doing it. And people need to know you're legit or not, right? Most 25-year-olds don't have 2 dimes they ain't got no money, man. So just keep showing what you're doing. But I think one thing you should be doing is showing that you're actually closing deals and legit. Like, do I want to deal with Billy in Dallas who wants to JV with me, or Max in Dallas? And Max is doing 20 deals a month. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you win.
Thank you. And then just to wrap it up, because I know we got to go here. So to understand your business model, you have a giant team that's going direct to seller, calling, texting, and then mailers. And then on the backside, you do your own dispo, but you also have trusted dispo partners, like you told me, in different areas.
Oh, yeah.
Are you mostly just connecting the dots and taking a small percent, and you're doing JVs? I mean, you're doing everything. So can you just sort of walk me through on a percentage split? How many deals are you doing where you're on the direct to seller side? How many deals are you dispoing, or how many deals are you just connecting the dots and being the middleman? Maybe on like a percentage, like the pie.
Yeah. So I have 4 businesses, really.
Okay.
So I have number one, the in-person Florida business. That's my favorite. And then I have the virtual wholesaling business. And then I have the JV operations. Then I have the software, right?
Wow.
So virtual's very, 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 very niched out. It's really going to be mostly Detroit. It's going to be Atlanta. It's going to be South Carolina and North Carolina and Virginia. That's bread and butter 101 right there. And Beaumont, Texas, usually. That's where I like to virtually wholesale. The rest kind of suck for really low hang. Like I'll drop, I know it's funny to say, you drop 20, 30 grand in marketing. Like you want to get the return on it. So that's a good return. Honestly, on the JV side of things, it's like I have a stupid team of people underwriting the deal. And then I have an acquisitions, like I call them kind of head of JV operations, that the deal goes through. And then they send it to whoever's got to go. Okay, go into dispositions people, go to X Leads, find the buyer, get it dispoed, goes to them. And then it's kind of, is a lot of it's overseas team, and then a couple Americans in there making all the money, honestly. And so those are the 3 sides. But really, I'm at the point where I go quality over quantity now. There's a difference between you and me. If the deal's not going to have 20K on the bone, if I'm not making 10 grand in my company, I'm not doing it. Just not worth it to me. And I teach people specifically how to go after the fattest deals possible. So I'm getting 25, 30, 40K pops. And that's literally my mentorship, right? Like I'm not going to teach you wholesaling unless you give me 20, 30 grand.
Yeah.
And you don't even talk to me. You talk to my acquisitions team. So that's the way I kind of do it, and just keep growing it, man. I'm 25, so I'm going slow. I think by the time I'm 50 or 60, this thing will get uncomfortable. But also I don't try to lose my mind in the process, right? I like traveling. I like going around the world, and I don't have to be glued to a phone all the time. Now I create the software company. This kind of has done that. I got to scale that out, and then I can kind of go back to that. But that's it for me, man. But honestly, man, I really appreciate you coming out here and teaching people and telling people how to do it. So reach out to you on socials, check it out in the comments. And like always, smash the like button and subscribe. Thanks, Max.
Yep. Thank you.